Bill Pound,
Here.
Suki Chow,
Here.
Kevin Strong,
Here.
thank you. Justin Sue,
Here.
thank you. Donna Mitoma, Teresa Montalvo,
Here.
Diane Lewis, Gabriela Perez, I'll say, Miss Kimberly,
Here.
thank you. Sarah Flores,
Here.
Sonny Thomas, and the resources, Dr. Gomez, it's here, Julie, it's here, TJ, Richard, Dr. Meter, Carol Meter,
Yes.
and Kevin Tompkins. Okay.
Okay, and would you, Julie, would you like to introduce Carol?
Yes. For those of you who don't know, Jessie Wayne, who was with us at our last meeting, has left PCC. So in the interim, we are now hired Carol Mayer, and she comes to us from, what is the name?
Palomar College.
Palomar College of the San Diego district. And she will be with us on an interim basis. Hopefully we'll hire my position sooner rather than later and let that person then go ahead and fill it for me. But we will have her, comes with extreme important background and education on this. And so I'm very confident that she will fill our Jessie's seat adequately and meet the needs of this committee.
And Jessie went on to become a vice president at El Camino College.
Yes.
So-
She's now my colleague.
Yes.
Great, and Dr. Gomez, would you like to introduce Ken Chalkins?
Yes, Ken is our new interim director of public affairs for Pasadena City College, and he is a long-time Pasadena person. Who's been involved in lots of things and actually has done work for the district with regard to sustainability over the last couple of years.
Thank you. Welcome, Kathy. Thank you. And I don't see any requests for public comment, but we do have a Richard Austin here. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Sure. My name is Rashad Austin, student at BCC, writing for the Courier this semester. Just came in to check in on what you guys do, take some notes. That's really it, though.
All right.
Nice to meet you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Any other comments before we move on? And any need to change anything on the agenda that you see? Yes, Richard.
I would like to introduce Oko Kasabian. He is the new Director of Facilities and Construction Services. I've asked him to join us so that we have backfill, sort of like what we did with Jesse. There's some movement that's going to happen in the college.
Is it Kassabin?
That's correct.
Kasabian, are you related to John?
I'm not.
Okay.
Pleasure to be here. Very nice to meet you all.
Thank you all.
Welcome.
Thank you.
And an architect. Right?
Yes.
Previously.
Previously.
Any other things we want to say before we move ahead to the minutes? Did you all get a chance to look at the minutes? They came out in certain alignment. I looked at them, they looked to me to be accurate, complete, and well done, but there are some of you who may have corrections, changes. Yes, Kimberly.
On page 3, just for clarification, I know it was not here, but it should be under T, second line, under bonds, should be bond support service.
Oh, instead of bonds,
Yeah.
do you see that there? Bonds, bond, it's spelled like bonds. It's spelled in a much tastier way.
Yes. Yes. Thank you.
Okay,
And
bond.
the other question I had was on page 2, and I didn't know whether, last paragraph, JC, regarding the second D issuance of bonds, I didn't know if we need to have D like in parentheses or something to make it clear that we're distinguishing a particular bond issuance.
It wasn't a D issuance, it should be second issuance of bonds. That's
Okay,
what
so the
we
D,
got.
okay, that's what was
Yeah,
my
that's- I was
question.
gonna point out the
Okay,
D.
Good. Cause I wasn't sure if it was like,
Oh.
okay, it's a special
Yeah,
issue.
yeah.
It's an extra D,
Yeah,
Yeah.
but that's just an extra.
Yeah,
extra
yeah.
letter, okay. But thank you, Doctor, that's for just the comments I had.
Any other corrections? Okay, 2 typos,
Okay.
and is there a motion to approve? Accept?
So moved.
Okay, move, second?
I'll second.
Kimberly, second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any noes? Any abstentions? Minutes are unanimously passed.
Thank you.
Okay, we're gonna move on to the annual report, and it's very similar to last year with some improvements. And this is for the year, in the mid-year last year.
It's for the 2024 to 2025
Right.
fiscal year.
And so, you all get a chance to review that. And I thought it looked good. It listed the membership for the 2024, 25 year. And sincerely, thank you for your report, because in the California code there, which last year I took trouble to read in detail, including the comments, I think it says there are 3 big parts to that code. And among the things that it asks are, was the committee properly composed, and did they diligently deliberate and understand the information and all that? And you certainly all did that, and I think in the letter it says thank you to you. So thank you all for doing that last year, who were on the committee and who are continuing to do that this year. The other part has to do with the cooperation of the staff and whether they did it and provided the resources that were necessary, and all that. And then I guess the constitution of the committee and the meeting and all that, and then whether they delivered, and then whether we got the resources we needed, and all those things were in fact, to the letter, met this year as they had been the prior year. So that's what we said essentially in this letter. And the other things here that have happened in the report are that there is additional clarification about, that's why this stuff is in here, about when we met. We have a fully reconciled statement of what happened with the bond money, and what went to the underwriting costs and payoff of the certificates of participation, and all of that. And then we've got the QR code there, and I thought it was a very nice thing that was done here in the picture of the auditorium and the mirror pool restoration and everything. So I was pleased with the report, but I don't know if you are, but I hope you all are, and that you will concur that it is an acceptable report.
Beautiful,
Hmm?
beautiful.
Yeah, it's very nice. One minor thing, I do notice that the QR code on the last page that leads to the financial statement is this draft financial statement rather than final financial statement, so maybe we need to update that.
We can update the code,
Yeah,
because it did get approved, so it is fine.
right.
Thank you.
The graphics were very nice, a very good design. A lot of times they can look very dry and just sort of very financial. And this is really, I like the call outs.
Thank you.
So very nicely done.
Yeah.
Good staff work on this.
Good. Any other comments? Not I'd entertain a motion to approve the report. Kevin, you move? Yes. Second? Kimberly, second. All in favor?
Aye.
No? Abstentions? That's unanimously approved. Thank you. Now we have the quarterly expense reports, and Julie, is this your swan song? So you're going to, what are you going to do now? Are you going to have yet another career? You
Well,
Run
no,
several
I'm retired
things,
yet
that's
for
what
a
you're
while.
Huh?
I'm a traveler, so.
Shit, I'm retired.
Well, I called her, I called her yesterday, and she was at the finance committee of the Pasadena Playhouse, which is where she was before she got here, so maybe she's gotta go there for a little bit of time and then come back, I don't know.
No, I'm back on the board there.
I know.
And if you get a chance, please come see Amadeus. It's
Oh,
amazing.
I wanna see that.
Oh my God, it ends in a couple weeks. But no, I'm gonna take some time off, because I literally did go from the Pasadena Playhouse to here. So it's been over a year. So I'll do some travel. But yes,
Congratulations.
thank you very much.
They're really being older again?
No, I started here in April, so it's almost a
Yeah.
year, but when I started at the Playhouse, it was August of 2024.
Oh, okay.
So I've been back to work for over a year, almost 2 years, so. I thought, no, I'm gonna go back to be retired again.
But we are so fortunate in Pasadena to have you, not just at Pasadena City College, but the Pasadena Playhouse and everything that you've done as a civically minded member of our community. So thank you so much, Julie. We're so glad that you have spent so much time here with us, because we know that you were intending to do other things. So, thank you.
But this has been so important, and the work here that I get to do for the community is great. So we have the our report as of February 19th. I did review it with Carol, so she has an understanding. So as I pass the baton over, and I know we met with the first accountants who have also worked on this, and I asked them to raise anything that came out of the ordinary, and I think we're good on this. The year to date, I want to make sure I got that as of December.
January 31st.
January 31st, so I want to make sure that we know our year dates is for January 31st. But if there are any specific questions, as you know, behind each of the, which I think is important, behind each of this document is a more detailed document on each of the projects. And this again represents the Series A, which is our first series that we've done, out of the 565 million. We continue to work on projects, and I know as Richard will give his report on the status of our current projects, you'll see that we continue to move forward. I think we told you last time about our trip to the trustees. I want to say it was either January or February, but we had a slew of projects that just got approved, and now we diligently are working on them with faculty in PCC to make sure that as they get implemented, they take into consideration all of the staff concerns and the needs of our community as we look forward. So it's not just what we need today, but what we need 5, 10 years from now. And that's the investment you're making in capital projects, but they're going to be here for a while. So this bill, I mean, we've been here 100 years, so be another 100 years. I want to make sure the foundation is us, no, seriously, for us to, for the next generation to have a great place to come and to, as a learning institution.
And Julie, I think, and this came up, I think we talked last year, but one of the concerns was with the property values with the Altadena fire in that area victimized, whether the revenues were going to be sustainable to be able to contribute to, for the bond financing. So, but it looked like the assessors,
Yes.
we were looking good.
Yes, they did not see the dip that we were kind of anticipating because of the new homes. The properties are still there. I mean, the land is still there, and people are still receiving, unfortunately, the property taxes. I know that's been a big discussion with the LA County Board of Supervisors, whether they are like supplementing or discounting, but right now sufficient funds are available for us to be collecting. And we continue to monitor that. We also work with our agency who does our audit reports. They're out there looking for us too, because they do for other agencies. We're just including that list, so I appreciate that.
The other related is, do we have any concerns about potential enrollment because of not having the population there that would support students? Is there, concern with?
I'll let Dr.
So-
Lucas.
First of all, the tax base in the district, the area in the burn zone is very, very tiny compared to the larger
Right,
district.
yes.
So we've been, our financial advisors and said there's no impact at all. In terms of enrollment, our enrollment continues to go up. That really just shows the strength of Pasadena City College and the community's support for Pasadena City College. We thought that we would, have a dip in our enrollment because of the fires and all of the displaced families and students. But it looks like we are projecting an increase in enrollment over last year, and that's been a steady increase since the pandemic, which has not been the case with many of our sibling campuses throughout the state. The other thing, and I want to just give TJ a shout out here, that is also with the prevention of fraudulent enrollments, which has been a huge, huge problem throughout the country and in California, where bad actors are using AI to enroll so that they can secure financial aid. But we have several systems in place, and we have almost eradicated that at this point. Now, next year they're going to have other things, but that has sometimes artificially inflated enrollment, and so that wasn't real enrollment. But even with all of those factors taken into account, our enrollment is still showing progressive, positive momentum.
That's great.
Yeah, and we have lots of other programmatic, initiatives and projects that should also continue to expand our enrollment as well. So, but obviously, everyone is facing an enrollment challenge, including our school, at Pasadena Unified, but all of the school districts in our district.
Yeah, I have a question, but before my question, I just wanted to say that initially I was worried about the full enrollment, but at least in my neighborhood, I talked to several kids. Because of the economy, there are kids that just foregoing private college acceptances. They recognize the value and then the excellence in the education that PCC provides to them. Like in my neighborhood, there's quite a few kids are enrolling in PCC this year. Like some of them got accepted in NYU, in some other colleges around the country, and then they're like, I'm not sure I want to put that much money out there. PCC is giving me a good education too for the first 3 years. Therefore, going there and actually joining PCC, I recognize that the word has get around the quality of the PCC's educations, and they can, forego some fancier colleges for 4-year colleges and stay local and still get the same education.
Well, and we just, and I think I mentioned this last week, but I don't know that I did, I forget, because I speak to so many folks, but once again, we're #1 in transfer to UC and CSUs, which is really the only thing we can really measure. But as you know, we have students that are transferring to NYU, the Ivy League, the UCs, all throughout the country. Actually, internationally, we've got students that are transferring to schools in Canada and England. We are, again, for the 13th year in a row, #1 for veterans in the country. I mean, that's a big accolade, and we are #1 in the state for associate degrees for transfer, #1 in the state. And so, and also, we just this week, 2 new ones. We have the top geography program in the state, and we also, the Modern Language Association contacted us because they want to know why it is that Pasadena City College has one of the largest foreign languages programs in the country when those things are going away. And if you know, we have Chinese, Russian, Italian, French, German, Armenian. I mean, we have an amazing, portfolio of foreign language courses, and so they want to come and talk to us because we apparently are now one of the largest programs in the country. which I didn't expect that. I mean, I realized it, but,
I saw that poster right outside your office saying you save $3,000 by coming to PCC instead of doing foreign language stuff like that. That's kind of impressive. But moving on to the questions I have, so on the financials, one of the things that I'm always very interested in, and as a community we're all concerned with, is Rosie side purchase. Through the grapevine, I know there are some movements on that. I see 13.5 million was spent. I'm assuming some land has been purchased. Can you provide, can somebody provide where we at on the Rosie side project?
well,
Not what the current state,
we purchased,
yeah,
about 60% of a block,
okay.
okay? And that was for the Rosemead campus. And we will be going to the board next week for an additional purchase of the rest of the block, almost the
Oh,
whole
that is-
block.
okay, so we will purchase. But I heard through somebody that there is already some plan about what's gonna go into the building, and the blueprints already started, architect has been picked. Where are we on that project right now? Like, when are we thinking that the Rosemead
So-
project will be put in?
So that's one of the projects that we have in line. And it is one of the projects that is farthest along. And so, architects are involved, we're doing, CEQA. I think probably,
When Richard-
Richard is gonna talk about that during his report. But it's moving very, expeditiously.
So you don't have a date on when that can start putting into educational use yet?
Well, we've got a target date, which would be what, 29, Richard?
Yeah. Oh, that's,
Yeah.
29, spring of 30, fall of 29, spring of 30.
that's a lot closer than I anticipated.
But we might be able to be there sooner.
Sooner, that's,
So
yes.
we've got some, ideas that we're, exploring related to having, getting there sooner, a lot sooner, because we want to start building the, student population there before the building opens. You know, we lost,
That's what I was gonna say, because we lost that facility, so the students can utilize that facility.
so we're gonna have a presence in Rosemead before 29.
Okay.
And then that presence, once the building is complete, those students will then move over to the new facility.
And my second question is, I haven't seen that on that yet, but, you talk about the potential construction labs. Is that gonna eventually come into these,
Did you say construction labs?
yeah,
You mean
construction- yeah,
yeah, so right now, that is being funded with other, investments. Some of that, a lot of that is, philanthropy and, government funding from the Chancellor's office, the Governor's office, and, our Congresswoman, Judy Chu. So, we've been able to raise, the money for that, but if you drive on Hill Street, you will see that the area has already been fenced off.
Yeah.
We already have the materials out there, and they're Richard may talk about that during his report as well, but we're bringing in, bungalows, for the lab. But those dollars were
Yeah,
raised.
but you don't foresee that we will hit these bonds?
That's already, that particular project is already,
Okay.
I mean, we've already got the budget,
Okay.
we've already have the design. Now, the larger project may be in the future, but
Oh, I
that's
see.
a different conversation. We're not there yet.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah.
Are there any new encumbrances or balances or variances we ought to be looking at here, Julie or Carol, that some of you have
I know,
spotted those in the past? and
Right.
Wanted to delve into them, and we've had the question in the past about whether or not the administrative costs were being inappropriately shifted, and I think we've been reassured they're not. That's not an issue. We looked at the overruns on some things like the mirror pools and talked about the workforce participation agreements and the impact of those and how the bidding's done. And we have had several other discussions about programmatic changes. On the Rosemead campus, by the way, at the last meeting, we did talk about it, and we were not talking about, at that time, purchasing any additional land. That was a specific question that came up. And we're told the main thing was going on is we were going to relocate power poles. So besides the programmatic things, I think that is a fairly expensive shift. So I'd like to know about that. And that raises the question in my mind that before we go to Richard and his description of facilities, is in terms of our, I don't want to say our import-export balance, we have had. One of the questions that comes up sometimes is we're doing a lot at PCC that appeals to people from other districts, and we've built such a beautiful campus with such great facilities, and have an outstanding faculty and outstanding programmatic stuff in what we're doing, but it's attracting people from other less well-performing districts. And then we have people going to other districts because of programmatic offerings, whether it's things in firefighting or law enforcement or mortuary things or whatnot, and because we have campuses specializing and we have adapted here, I think you've explained in some ways to bring in things in blue collar trades. So I have two questions. One is whether there are any trends in that in terms of our bringing in students from outside the district versus our students who go elsewhere. And it sounds like from a couple of the anecdotal comments here, we've got more people deciding to stick around of our own students. And then so that's the primary question.
There is specialization by many community colleges.
Right, and so how is that changing now? You've been working programmatically to change the offerings here.
So we are expanding our career education offerings. We are expanding our non-credit offerings. We are making sure that the courses that students need to graduate are being offered, because now with the new funding formula that the state has instituted, we are measured by how many certificates, how many associate's degrees, how many, the success of our students in transferring. Do they stay here through the semester? Do they actually finish the class? All of those things are now incorporated into the student funding formula. And so, it's all important. With regard to CTE, that is a federal, state, and local initiative. It is something that the legislature is encouraging. It is something that the California Community College statewide office is encouraging. So we don't have enough skilled tradespeople to do the work that needs to be done. So we have to really expand that those offerings here. We are fortunate, because of the support of our community over 100 years, that we've been able to build a campus that is much more comprehensive than most community college campuses. So I often say, we offer opera, right? And we offer plumbing, and both need good pipes. A plumber can take an opera class here, and an opera student can take plumbing classes. So I think that's important, and I think that's what our community expects, and I think that's why we retain so many of our students, because a lot of things that you can get at a four-year institution, you actually can't get there. I have experience at four-year institutions, and we don't have a language program like the language program that we have here. We don't have a theater program. We don't have arts, humanities, our sciences, our STEM, nursing, dental, automotive technology, welding. I mean, childhood, education, early childhood education. I think, it's A through Z and everything in between. Now, do we do it all? Not all. I mean, for example, I was talking to a student who really wanted us to offer a fire academy here. We don't have a fire academy. We have a wildland fire academy, so we're starting to build that up. But because we're in this fire zone, everybody thinks, we really need to build that kind of a program. If you want to do that, you have to go really to El Camino College or Santa Ana College. Those are some of the closest places. I think Mount Sac might have a program, but those are things that we're starting to build out. If you want to become a police officer, Rio Hondo has a police academy. Those are things that they do well. We don't do aviation here. Aviation is big. Some of the colleges closer to the airports are doing aviation, so they are specializing in those areas. What we do is we do industrial fabrication and automation. Most people don't realize that there is a aviation sort of aeronautical engineering sort of manufacturing industry that is being built out in Palmdale and what's the other, Lancaster. It's super top secret, but our students are getting hired from our industrial fabrication classes after getting certificates or associate's degrees, and they're making very good money. They're just not supposed to talk about it because it's the Fed. So we're doing all that.
But the other thing I was going to say is, you said, how do we attract people from other places? We're going to the trustees on Wednesday with a presentation on the BRT. That's a project we're doing with Metro. It's a bus rapid transit. And what that'll do is go from North Hollywood to Pasadena. There's another opportunity that connects us more with the San Gabriel Valley beyond. And kids can now get on a bus that can get them to Pasadena in like less than 40 minutes. Now that may be attractive to someone who said, PCC has the classes I really need, I can now go there. So we do look
And
for
the gold
opportunities.
line.
At the gold line too.
I mean, yes.
That is, and now that it's all the way up to Montclair.
And we have electric vehicle, electric shuttle buses.
Yes.
Our fleet is all electric, and those shuttle buses are going to every one of those Gold Line stops, back and forth all day long. So it's easy to get here using mass transit. So that's
You're at the our Foothill campus too.
Yeah.
It's also at a Gold Line station. Ways to attract people.
And in turn, one of the other question was, in programmatically, we have had, back during some prior times, the foundation has done a lot with the food bank and other things to help distressed students. And we've also, in the physical plan, some of which is funded by this bond issue we've had safe spaces created for the Veteran Center and some other places where people can go, and are all those remaining adequate to our needs, or are there deficiencies in any of those things that you're addressing in the program?
I wouldn't call them deficiencies. I would call them opportunities for enhancements.
And so
We are, because of the construction and all of because of this bond, frankly, there's a lot of movement taking place, right? When we built the new Serafian building, that's taken some of our programs and students out of other locations on the campus and moved them into the building, freeing up space. And then there are, like the W building, for example, that's gonna be raised soon. We had to take programs out of there and put them in other locations. So those locations that moved, those programs that moved into Serafian left surge space. Those folks are going in there. But I do know that our Rising Scholars core program, which is our justice impacted students, have a new space that they're very happy about. In fact, they asked to come to our board meeting next week to thank us for the space, that their new space. And our Veterans Resource Center is also in a new space.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Other questions about the numbers? Okay, if not, then I think we move, are we ready to move on to,
We'll go to item number 3, with facilities instruction.
and, Richard, do you want to give us, is this going to be, well, no, I don't know, maybe we have another, you've got an upcoming, you have an upcoming retirement as well?
There's a rumor about that.
Yeah.
Did you guys accept your,
It's an action item.
Is it an action item?
Report
Okay.
again.
We need to vote on the,
Okay, for the quarterly expense report, entertain a motion to approve that, accept that. Okay, moved. Second?
I'll second.
Okay. Moved and seconded that the quarterly expense report be accepted. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? Okay, unanimously passed. Thank you very much. Okay, Richard?
good evening, members. There's a lot of great stuff going on campus, but this report focuses on the direct expenditures towards bond. I know some of the things have been brought up here, like CTE, the temporary CTE that's being funded by outside sources. But this report's going to focus on what we're doing with specifically bond expenditures. I'm really excited to report that for the Armin Serafian building, we are now at complete occupancy as it was designed. For spring semester, we moved over the nursing programs that were scheduled from the CEC, the Community Education Center on Foothill, and so they're now in their permanent space.
Oh, great.
So we're fully occupied on the Serafian building. Also in progress, you had mentioned the Veterans Resource Center. That building has been retrofitted and turned into a nice space for them. We will be moving them during spring break into their new home over there in the Science Village area. That's a temporary home until the new student services building is built, but that puts them right next to, as the president brought up, the core program in the bungalow right next door. There's a picture in your report. You can kind of see flooring's in. We're just finishing up doors and windows, and then we'll be moving over the staff during spring break. Some of the upcoming projects that we have working on that will be hitting the bond expenditures. We're working on campus-wide phase 2 of the roofing on the main campus. We're in the pre-qualification phase, and then we'll be entering bid and award phase with the 3 qualified contractors. I know there was questions about the Rosemead Center. That is another exciting milestone and project for the campus. We are now in what we would call programming, and we are working with what we call the building user groups. So, building user. Yeah, the bugs. So we've gone through the higher level. We've identified what programs will go into the building, And now we're actually working with the users that will use it on a day-to-day basis, working with them on their needs, how the spaces need to flow and be designed to support their academic endeavors. We're also,
Is that being conducted by our own staff or by outside architects?
it's being conducted, our staff is managing, but it is with our outside architect that's responsible for the design of that project.
And who is that architect?
HGA.
Okay.
So right now, we've also worked with some massing on some concepts of the building. We're working with California Edison, and we had mentioned it last time, on moving some of the power poles and pulling back the power. And we are also working with our CEQA consultant to look at the site and move forward. In addition to that, on the backside, we'll also be working with the city of Rosemead for entitlement and our preliminary plan approvals. The other exciting thing about that we're doing is last January, or this January, we put before the board, and the board approved the award of contracts for 5 additional projects that are slated in the bond. These are now moving in the same path that the Rosemead building is in. We're working with our programming, and we're having our initial meetings, and that is the STEM building, Lancers Pass Aquatic Center and W building demolition, boiler house renovation and modernization. We're looking at also the new instructional building that's in the annex footprint. And finally, we're also looking at a master plan for the west side of campus. This includes the proposed area for the student services, the quad, the R building, the pathway through the demolition area of the W building and up to our lot 3. So we're taking a look at all of that and how we can improve the student experience as they come on campus.
Question. I recognize some of these projects, but some of those things, was that in the master plan when the bond was approved? Like the boiler house renovation project? It was in the original master plan.
And it was also in the update, in the original, and it was in the updated 2024 plan to the board that the board approved.
Okay, thank you.
What's the boundary of the West Colorado campus as you've defined it?
Well, we're defining it as looking from the current student services building. If you took that line and you cut all the way down, so it would be the backside of the pool, so the W building. We're looking at the R building itself, the plaza, the gallery building. And we're kind of looking at that in conjunction with the ITB building, where the shops are now, and also the parking lot 3, because that's a main pathway on the campus through parking lot 3, yet it puts you in back of house where all the shops are. So we're really looking at what kind of experience as a student comes onto campus, how do they navigate their way to student services, which is on the opposite end of campus, and how does that all integrate with our other driveway that's coming in from the Lot 1 area turnaround and the new BRT drop-off.
It really allows us to take an opportunity as we're doing some major renovations or demolitions of some of the buildings to look at that side of the west campus and say, again, people enter through not just always the front where the mirror pools are, but where our parking lots are at. And re-looking and saying, is this the right fit? Is this the way we can economize, even just the way where the buildings are at? What should they look like? And all within the feel of the BC campus, but again, try to look at how we can not only modernize, but perhaps look at advantages of the classes we're having today. How do they all fit? How does everything look if we're looking, towards the future?
Well, I'm wondering how far, whether you're looking far enough ahead, because with the Caltech getting its building and the controversy there, and with Carnegie's stuff still sort of being vague, and the child care center over there, and whenever I look over there at the library and the gas station, this, if you look at Cal's campus, for instance, when you look at this sort of ends up being Seder Gate, on the side of the campus that gets more of the traffic into the community. So that whole side looks to me like it's a big deal.
It's an opportunity.
So if you look at old photographs of this campus, you will see that the entrance off of, is it Green?
Yeah.
It comes right into
Yeah.
campus.
It dead ends into it.
There used to be this beautiful entrance to the campus there, right? And that really was kind of the entrance. Most of our students park in parking structure 3 or 4, and they have to walk all the way across campus to where most of our student services are located, which are on the Colorado side, in a very small building, and then go to other places. Like, for example, our health center is in Serafi, right? So they've got to go all the way if they need to go to the health center. So this idea, and by the way, when you come down that area, right, you're coming down a ramp and these stairs, and the first thing that you see is basically all of the garbage receptacles that are behind the building. So you're literally coming into the campus through the back door and seeing all the, the loading docks and all these other things. And so, that just doesn't make any sense, right? And so we have to really figure out, maybe those student services need to be closer to where the students park, so they don't have to go around hunting for things, right? And they can just go right in, and we have a one-stop shop where they can get all of their needs met. Right now, we've got all of these different places that they have to go to all around campus. So that's what Richard is talking about with this sort of re-envisioning of the west side of the campus. But you're absolutely right. At some point, we are landlocked. There's just no space. So, you have to find other lands.
To reimagine.
Yeah.
I'm all about reimagining.
Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Gomez. Go ahead, Richard.
I think the most progressive and exciting one is the last one, which is our sustainability initiatives. We're in the middle of a 3-part plan, probably a little bit more than in the middle, probably 2/3 done with the 3-part plan. And this is in support of Board Resolution 799, which was our decarbonization efforts. And with that it was mentioned earlier that our shuttles are electric now, and that we do have a fleet of electric vehicles in addition to some of the other groundskeeping equipment. So we've electrified, we've got certifications, we're really embracing and moving towards sustainability here on campus. And so what I wanted to highlight a little bit is we have looked at this campus, the Child Development Center, and the Community Education Center. We've looked at it holistically, and we've come up with a plan for EV charging, additional EV chargers and quick chargers. Everything is in conjunction with our partners at Pasadena Water and Power, and we're working towards that, putting those projects out. In addition, we've taken a look at our parking lots, and we've looked at how much solar we can put in, and we're working on all those figures to give a complete breakdown to the board next month as a little bit of, here's the amount that we can store, here's the amount that we can produce, and how much does that offset our current usage from Pasadena Water and Power. And then the final component of this that we haven't started yet on, because these two, we have a deadline of getting these put together so I can start getting some projects out as soon as maybe this summer on the EV charging and PV. We're going to be doing some test fits of the projects on the east side of campus and CEC. Is the third part is the sustainability master plan. So in order to fully round out and support the resolution, we then will take a step, and we're working with a couple of our vendors right now to take a look at how can we reduce our carbon footprint, where can we electrify, where can we eliminate or change over some of our gas-fired appliances to electric, and what is out there and what we can do with that, and actually come up with a plan and a goal to complete that work. Yes.
Richard, one thing to consider is they're starting to look at fleet to grid. So when you're having your shuttles that are not operating potentially on the weekends, and you have them corralled, that one way to do is if you could work with Pasadena Water and Power. So for peak demand, particularly say summers, where you're going to take your battery power that's in your battery from your vehicle and you'll be able to boost it to the grid.
Yes.
So that you're then in turn getting power back, and they're going to pay you for that.
Yes, when we met with our reps from Pasadena Water and Power, they said that was what they were doing in their yards. And so, yeah, we're definitely working with them to leverage everything and anything that's out there.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any questions?
I think you actually captured both A and B there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good. Any discussion? We didn't hear any question about dollars. I mean, some of
Don't
this,
worry about it.
we're getting, I mean,
That's in the budget.
it sounds to me like with what you're looking at here, is all this gonna be done with within the current tranche that we have down, or will this take us into the next drawdown?
Well, yeah, we would look at, there's the logistics actually executing throughout the campus, and so there'll be many phases that I have to work around our programming and our actual academic schedule, because we would be having some major impacts in some of our parking areas to complete this work. So yes, there will be, what we're working on right now is we're coming up with the values. We'll do a presentation. So the presentation the board will get this April, we will get at the next quarterly meeting with the dollar values and present to you here where we're going and the phasing plan.
Because we'll look at all of those schedules and look at what we're, in terms of spending dollars. And as you're asking, we have right now the 75 million, I think, is our balance. We'll look at how we'll go about spending those dollars and when we need to issue a second series. We're still on our first.
So don't you're gonna wanna come back and get involved in some of that, aren't you? Huh? After a little sabbatical.
That's what we call it. It's a
Retirement
sabbatical.
sabbatical.
No, it's a sabbatical.
Sabbatical.
You're in higher education. We're going to call it a sabbatical.
Yes,
Kevin?
Is the focus on adding the EV, chargers for cars and stuff, is it for employees or is it for students?
it is in all of our lots. So it would be for students, faculty, and campus police. They are, and utility vehicles that are our shuttles. So yes, there will be open
And I'm
chargers
assuming
for-
that's going to be a moneymaker for the college.
We hope so.
At least break even.
Break even.
Yeah, that's,
We don't, yeah, break even, for sure.
It'll be so good you can buy the Chevron station.
I want the Ford dealership.
yeah,
on the
yes.
other side.
Well, and the good thing is there's a lot more.
Thank you very much for your report.
Thank you.
Kimberly, I think has a
I was
report.
just gonna say, there's a lot of new companies there's one called Drives that's doing the software to do the connectability to charging. And will help with also kind of connect to the Zelle component, et cetera. So it's kind of a one-stop shop
Oh, nice.
for being able to pay and set it up, and whoever the recipient's going to be, all at the college, try to make that easy for the student, the visitor, or whomever.
Anything further? Okay, then, we'll move on. Are there any special items proposed for the next agenda? We said, this big program is going to be presented to the board, you said in April.
We're looking at going back to the facilities committee meeting, I believe, with kind of a reevaluation of where we are with all of the projects, which ones are moving forward, which ones maybe need a little bit more money. So we'll look at that in April, and we'll come back to our next meeting, which I believe is in June, to CBOC.
Okay, well, let's look at it, let's look at a date, and we'll have the usual reports, and then we'll have an opportunity for that. This meeting actually is being held in March because our February meeting was held over for a couple of weeks, so actually, if we wanted to stay on schedule, we would be something like May 21st, I think. And does that, and just let me be so bold as to propose, does May 21st work with the staff calendar? Okay, so that is not a conflict with anybody, and it's not,
That should work.
does that work? Does the same time work? Would you like to come at the same time, or would you like to come earlier? Sometimes we come earlier. Is there anything that we'll have an opportunity for a tour that day first, or anything we might want to look at, Richard?
Maybe the VRC. It's a swing core and VRC.
Okay. Why don't we then put down that, so would any of you like to see the Veterans Resource Center? Okay, so maybe we can do it, and do you like the time of 5 o'clock, or would you like to go earlier at 4 o'clock? Sometimes we've done that.
5 is good.
Time's good.
Pardon?
5 o'clock is
5
good.
o'clock's good, shall we do it at 5 o'clock on Thursday, May 21st? Okay, here's everybody,
Yes.
and we'll precede it if you would like to come earlier. At what time? You want to go for the tour at 4:15?
4:30.
Pardon?
4:30.
Well,
It takes us longer usually than we think.
yeah, absolutely.
That's
It
true.
usually
But we're
takes-
finishing early anyway, so
We would start,
But we want to start on time, whatever we say.
4:15.
4:15,
Okay.
we'll arrange shuttle.
4:15,
I would like to get an RSVP so we could have enough shuttles, so
okay.
we can truck over there with electric cars.
Okay.
You know what'd be,
Oh, yeah.
you know what'd be great,
Mhm.
is if we were able to do that on a day when we had some kind of performance on campus as well, so that if anybody wanted to stay and actually interact with our students or see a musical performance, a theater performance, or something else, it could be, I mean, because we do have those, and in May, in the evenings, there's gonna be a lot of that, so if we, no one has to go.
An opera recital?
An opera recital.
By summer,
Yeah, so if you, but I mean,
Yeah.
if you can align it, and I
Right.
think the 21st, I'm pretty sure there's gonna be
Yeah,
some
because we're
stuff.
over by 6:30 or so, and our shows usually start, what, 7:30?
Yeah, at 7:30, and then, we can have maybe a little reception or something. I mean, not anybody, no one has, you don't have to go, but you can, so you can see the students actually using some of the space. Like, for example, we're gonna be doing an opera in the Sexton Auditorium. That'll be the first big performance in Sexton Auditorium. So,
When does that come?
that I think is before that. But,
Yeah.
I mean, there's a Brighton Beach Memoirs, is that gonna be, I think, in Sexton?
Is it Section or Western?
Whatever it is.
We'll have a production.
Yes, we will
Okay.
have productions, and then, the choral students or the orchestra, I mean, there's lots of it.
Does the Arts Center have a plan to have a show of President Gomez's ceramics? No, he's an accomplished ceramicist,
Not me, my kids.
but
Yes.
of all your performances, you can do all of them.
Okay, so if there's a performance, we'll
Yeah.
let you know about that.
Yes.
And in that regard, one of our past trustees and a member of the foundation, Wade Hilsman, you probably all got an announcement of that. You have something going up? Is there something the foundation, is that the foundation promoting?
Yeah.
that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You wanna
we're
say what
promoting-
that
I
is?
think there's a reception, I think I was just saying,
On the 13th, isn't it?
yeah, there's an email to me.
It's next week.
Yeah,
Yeah.
next week.
Friday?
Friday, I think it
He's
is.
actually hosting a reception.
Yeah.
And it's a knockoff remake of Our Town.
Yes, it's
So,
the 13th,
right.
it's the 13th Friday.
So I don't know, I think it is inspired. Yes.
Okay. Any other comments?
And let us know if anyone is interested in that performance, because we can get tickets for that.
Good. Thank you all for coming. We actually are done quite early.
What do you think about that?
And I think this is a record, isn't it? So
It is a record.
And by the way, for the press that's here, this is a lot less rigorous questioning about the numbers that ever happens. I don't think we ever had such light questioning of the variances, the numbers, and the drill down into scrutiny. So this is an unusually light level of scrutiny of the numbers in this book because they didn't report new expenditure.
Right.
I think it's Carol.
Yeah,
I
so
can, yeah.
make a note of that, please.
We're afraid of Carol.
Also, Cosette, we have everybody's term on this committee will go through 2027, so you have another year. Nobody's getting rotated off this year, but I do believe that coming up shortly, we will change the officers. Will, or not?
Well, what happens is, there's a, you have a limit of 4 years total, right? And every, is it 2 years?
2 years.
There's half of the board sort of cycles out. So technically speaking, it just happens to be that the way that it happened this time is that many of the current board leaders are going to probably be cycling off, so there will be a new,
Right.
I mean, there won't be, no one can be replaced, Dr. Opal, but there will be somebody sitting in that chair eventually.
Yeah. Okay, good. So there's information sheet here, about the Citizens Bond Oversight Committee, who they are, and Lisette has copies of this, or if any of you would like to take this one, it has to do with people, if you know people that ultimately want to come on the committee when terms are up, that want to be known, what the appointment process is. It's all right here. I'll leave this here. And you do that. Otherwise, thank you very much. I will declare the meeting adjourned at 6:06.
Thank you.
Thank you for being our fearless leader.